Hello, friends, and welcome to Activate and Thrive and to our weekly Thriving Thursday chat, where we chat with different, beautiful, health and wellness-minded people about many different aspects of health and thriving. And we run these every Thursday at noon East Coast US time here on our Facebook page, Activate and Thrive. We also post them on YouTube. So whether you're watching us live today on Facebook, later on Facebook or on YouTube, welcome, and we're so glad that you've joined us. Today's kind of interesting because I'm joining you all from Seattle, Washington. Mia is at our home base in Massachusetts, and our guest Rachel is in Utah. I don't know if it's Salt Lake City. Yeah, so we're in 3 different parts of the country, and we're glad to have you. My name's Don.
And I'm Mia, and our guest today is Rachel Alnani. She is a functional trainer and holistic health practitioner and epigenetics hair analyst. She's spent 20 plus years helping clients, her family, and herself find and heal the root causes to pain and disease. She focuses on constant education. She's always learning and treating each case individually. And Rachel is a single mom of 3 beautiful children. As Don said, lives in Utah. Did you know that your hair speaks volumes about what is going on inside your body? And, we're body, mind, spirit. We all know that epigenetics is the way our genes are expressed. But what about an analysis of that expression? Today, Rachel's just going to give us a snapshot view of the inner workings of epigenetics, our epigenetic code, through her mastery of hair analysis. I was just fascinated when I learned about this. It's remarkable. And she's going to share how we can become basically the healthiest versions of ourselves. So welcome, Rachel. We're delighted to have you with us today.
And if we could just hold up a glass for
Thanks
the title of our
me.
chat today, it's Hairs to Your Health. So
yes,
we look forward. Cheers.
Here's my bottle.
To your health.
Hairs to your health.
Thank you, Don, for that. That was awesome.
My jokester.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about epigenetics and how to test that. How do you want to go into it? What do you want to learn today?
Well, I would just like to kick off by saying your average person on the street, and I include myself in that, doesn't necessarily think about the connectivity between our hair and our health and what our hair says about our health. And especially in my case, I consider myself quite healthy, but my hair doesn't necessarily show that. And yet I'm healthy. So I'm interested to know about this connectivity between the state of our hair and our health. So that's, just a simple, layman's question for you.
Awesome, John. I want to cover both of those topics. First of all, hair is a functionality of your DNA meets your hormones. And what are hormones, right? The way that your hormones express is your epigenetics. And so losing hair, like you're saying, if you're a healthy male and you've started to go bald or lose hair, it just means that somewhere along the line, your body expressed a lot of stress. And that's okay, right? We also, our hair grays, sometimes it thins. Think about a woman when she's pregnant, her hormones change so much. After having the baby, maybe Mia, you remember this, globs of hair fall out because your hormones are changing so much of that process.
Yeah, I didn't experience
Do you remember that?
I didn't experience giving birth. I have 3 beautiful stepchildren, but so I didn't experience that, but I know a lot of people that have.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know that about you. So good for you. You didn't have to lose your hair. But those of us who have actually birthed the baby, that's kind of a telltale sign of hormones changing after birth, because during the pregnancy process, you don't really lose a lot of hair. The hormones are doing a different fluctuation. So that's just one example. So did that cover kind of what you were asking about, Don?
Yes, we look forward to exploring more about, especially like what should people be aware of in relation to their hair and
Right.
how it says something about their health. And other than that, whatever you wanted to tell us about this very interesting area.
I wanted to make sure you understood like the hair loss thing. So here's what happens. I test in a fun little device. I test hair follicles. So the hair follicle is actually the root bulb of your hair. So if you pull your hair out and you have a little, it's just the little bulb on the end that actually sticks inside of your skin of your scalp. And that particular area, the back of the crown, has 90-day memory of everything that's going on in your body. It's kind of like your flashing sign. This is what's going on. This is what we need to do. So I do an analysis on just the root bulb. It only takes 3 to 4 of them. And it actually burns the root bulb, and we kind of read the essence or the smoke of that root bulb, which is very CSI. It's very, very cool.
Wow. I mean, that's fascinating. It's just fascinating that you can do that. So it's a device, it's a machine that you use that helps you read that. Yes.
Right. Yes. And so then we get a 30-page report that shows you what nutrient levels you have, which is super important. So when we're going back to Dawn saying, hey, I'm healthy, but I've lost my hair, again, that doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. It may mean that just the nutrients that you needed during that stressful time in your life, you didn't have because you were using them up and you didn't know you were using them up. So we're going to cover vitamins, we're going to cover antioxidants, we're going to cover fatty acids and amino acids and your minerals. And then we're going to see, do you have some sort of environmental factor like a toxic metal or a chemical overload or a high radiation point? Also, we're going to check and see what your EMF levels are and if you have a parasite or overload of bacteria in your gut, a virus, all the things that we can see present in the body. I can't see exact hormone levels. That's where my education comes in. And I'm reading between the lines of the report and I can tell where your hormones are off because I know that you need lithium and copper and a lot of your minerals to keep your thyroid on check. So that's kind of where we are at with the report. But it really is a telltale sign of what's going on. It's pretty interesting because most people come in and talk to me and say, oh my gosh, you know, I can't sleep and my stomach hurts after I eat, or, you know, I'm not having a bowel movement every day. And they're telling me things and I can kind of guess, oh, yeah, well, we're missing this or we need to detox this. And then it just gives us a report that solidifies what I'm already thinking in my brain as a practitioner saying, hey, this is actually going on in your body and we can see kind of deeper level things. And that's when we get to the root cause. That's when we actually heal from the inside out, right? We all know that gut health is our health. We need to start inside of the gut and work outward. And this really kind of gives you that bird's eye view to what your gut is doing and what it's not doing, more importantly.
Yeah, because sorry, go ahead, hon.
I was just going to say, you mentioned EMFs, and my experience has been that not everybody actually knows what those are. And so let's just clarify, those are electromagnetic frequencies, and we'd all be amazed to realize how many different sources those EMFs are coming from and impacting our health. So I just wanted to pick up on that one thing that you said in case someone doesn't know what EMFs are.
Yeah, that's an important part. And if you are a client, patient of mine, man, everybody gets a big, broad lecture of the EMFs in our world because it's something that we can't really completely get away from, right? Unless you're going to go live out in the woods and the boondocks. You have to be able to guard your cells. And what we don't realize is how much they're affecting us. Most of us sit inside of a building all day doing work or raising a family or something. And the air that we breathe inside is pretty toxic. There are way more chemicals and way more pollutants on the inside of your home than there are on the outside of your home. I don't care what your air quality is. And then we have all the other things that can be happening are EMFs and radiation. Radon comes out of the ground. That's a form of radiation. And some of our houses are really high in that odorless, a gas that you can't see, you don't even know, right? And people are being affected by that. EMFs are the same way. The microwave is putting off EMFs, even just plugged in, not even being used. The TVs, we all have earbuds and watches and phones in our hands and our bodies at all times. The biggest contributor that I'm seeing is that everybody goes to bed looking at their phone. And where do they put their phone? As soon as their eyes want to close, they just put it on the nightstand right beside them. The Wi-Fi is still going. It's still out searching on all the cellular data. And all of those EMFs are interacting with your body while you sleep. Well, your body is trying to be in repair mode. It's not in fight mode. You're in fight mode all day. When you go to bed, you're in repair mode, and you've got those EMFs that are just bombarding your body all day. And people are like, well, it's on the far end of my nightstand. Well, I don't really care if it's on the far end of your nightstand. The Wi-Fi in your house is bugging you that's on the other end of your house. So we need to turn off those devices as much as possible. And that's how we start actually helping our health in little areas. And that's the tweaks that we can do now when we don't know, oh, where are my vitamin levels, or what resistance factors do I have? Let's start on broad spectrum and just say every single person needs to make sure they go to bed without devices in their room. That's going to be first.
What do you do? And especially, you know, with your children, what specifically do you do to help that besides put them in another room?
Right. Okay. So here's some of the checklists that I have. They're in another room, right? But they're also, I've turned off the Wi-Fi. If you have an Apple, you have to turn off the Wi-Fi and put it on airplane mode. On an Android, you just have to put it on airplane mode. I turn them off if possible. Like my phone, I don't turn off because first thing when I get up, I've got little things that I do and check in with clients. But all the Wi-Fi and airplane mode are on off. And put it in the other room. I turn off the Wi-Fi for the house. I do not own a microwave. That's not even something that's inside my home. And I would suggest everyone on the planet do that because it is giving off way more EMF than you can handle, even just plugged in, not even being used. And then we can talk about radiation that you get from using it. And then I also don't own an Alexa or a Google Dot or Echoes or any of those things. I don't have any of those things. None of my kids own tablets. There's only 4 laptops in my home, and they all go in a central location at night if everyone's done with them, or they get completely turned off. All the electronics in my house are on a strip system. So everything's plugged into a strip that I can just click the switch and all the plugs get turned off at once. That's awesome. Anything that has power, if it plugs in, if it has Bluetooth or Wi-Fi capability, it is giving you an EMF frequency that you do not want going through your body. So as much as you can turn that off is going to be more helpful. The other things that can affect you are power lines or your neighbor's EMFs type system. So cleaning the direct circle around you is just going to help widen that barrier.
So that's one of the stress factors. And let's pivot back to the hair part of things and what can, you know, what should people be looking for in their hair? Because we've built this as, you know, hair health and what it says about our overall health. So what should people be looking for? Like, you know, what tells us that we're not fundamentally healthy, that our hair is a read on?
So what's great about the hair is you can see everything so pinpointed, but it's hard to tell. We get bombarded every day with social media and ads and billboards and magazines and all of these things saying, well, everybody needs this and everybody needs this and everybody needs this. And the biggest thing I see out there are powders and pills. And the pills that I see are like a multivitamin, right? You can walk into Costco or Sam's Club or, you know, these big box stores, even Walmart or Target, and the pharmacy nutritional aisle is covered with things that you can take, right? And that's the biggest question I get. How do I know what's going to be good for me? And the problem is you don't know what's going to be good for you. So at a basic level, without a hair scan, and what I'm seeing in the data is you need to be taking like the big 5. You got to make sure that you're getting zinc. You got to make sure that you're getting calcium. You got to make sure that you're getting the vitamin C and vitamin D. And those are going to be super, super important. The other thing that people don't realize, there are lots and lots of vitamins and lots of minerals and lots of antioxidants and things that go into our body to make up who we are and how we function. And I don't think everybody realizes each part of that. So vitamins, B vitamins are water soluble. So if you are not hydrated properly, even though you're eating foods that should give you B vitamins, you're not going to absorb them and synthesize them properly. B vitamins are big on helping you break down the proteins that you're eating. And then when those proteins break down is how your body appropriates amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks for our cells. So without those, you're not going to lose weight. You're not going to build muscle. Your brain tissue is going to start deteriorating. Your heart isn't going to function the way that it should. You're not going to have a proper lining to your gut. You see how just vitamins alone play essential roles in what we're doing as overall health. That's just vitamins. We have all these other things that move into that.
It sounds like, though, to have our hair be a read on deficiencies in those departments, it's not something that we can see, like take out a strand of hair and look at it. The untrained eye can't know, and you need some kind of scan. So really your message to people would be, you really ought to do a hair scan so that a professional like yourself can analyze that and tell you certain things. And I think you said something about that at the beginning, but is there anything you can elaborate on about what you might see in a strand of hair or in the hair analysis that leads you to X or Y conclusion?
Yeah, in the analysis. So hair analysis is one of those things that there's not many things that I would say. I mean, I probably could think of 5 things that I think every person on the planet should be part of. And hair analysis is one of them, because it is the only test that I've found that you're able to look at all the different systems, right? You're going to see your circulatory system. That's everything, all the fluids moving in your body. You're going to see your gut health. And you're going to see your immune system. Your immune system is built inside of the gut, right? We know that. And for your immune system to function, your gut has to be functioning correctly. Those go hand in hand together.
You see signs in the hair of the immune system, the gut. That's extraordinary.
Everything, right?
Nobody thinks about that. That's extraordinary.
No,
Rachel, can you show us? Can you show us an example of that?
Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen here. Oh, I don't know how to do this.
Let's see, did I think I gave you.
Go.
Okay.
Start recording or casting with Zoom. I don't know what that's doing.
Rachel's on
because this is giving me
today.
like a weird
heebie-jeebies.
All right.
Maybe just talk about what you.
Well, I want to show you. Let me just show you.
Okay.
You're going to get kind of a weird screen here for
That's
a
okay.
second. Let's show you this. Hold on. That's going to get crazy for a second.
It's okay. We're good.
Okay,
oh, great.
Something we can look at.
Here is the first basic page of a hair analysis. So as you can see, and I know it's a little grainy and I apologize.
That's okay. If you just hold it still, we'll be able to see it.
Yeah. Okay, so over here is going to be the priority systems for this person. So this person is really needing some fatty acid metabolism support. They need gut and intestinal support. They need detoxification support, and they have an issue with protein synthesis. So I won't take the time to break each one of those down, but these are the systems that we are going to really hone in on for this particular person. That's the other thing. It is so individual. This isn't like a blanket statement of everybody needs this. This is your body says it needs this. Okay. And then everyone is also going to get 10 foods that are triggers for them at the moment. Sometimes it's a worse trigger for some, and sometimes it's just pretty minor things that they don't really ever eat. Foods are chemical compounds and they have chemical reactions in our body. So we go off of the knowledge of that. But sometimes it says gluten and sometimes it says dairy and those inflammatory foods that we know that we shouldn't be having a ton of anyway. Okay. And then this is where we really pay attention. See how this wheel is showing all the different things that I was talking about. This is what we really focus on. We can see the vitamins. The bigger the piece of pie, the bigger issue we're going to have. We need more vitamins. We need more antioxidants. And as we know, antioxidants are usually something that we're activating more than we're actually taking in. So that's going to be super important. And most people don't realize that. They just think, I'm going to eat some blueberries and raspberries, pomegranates, you know, maybe some superfoods, and I'm covered. Well, I can tell you right now, I look at this all day, every day. You're not covered. You need to be activating those antioxidants. Here you can see environmental challenges. This person is going to have radiation or chemicals, something going on in their body. The smaller, you can see fatty acids, they're going to be doing better in the fatty acid department. That's going to be good fats, avocados, seeds, fish, chicken, beef, good protein sources where you're getting good fat. Foods is one of the biggest issues with this person. And that means we're going to really focus on these 10 foods right here, okay? And then interference, as you can see, is a big piece of the pie for this person. This is going to be where EMFs reside, because what you should know about EMFs, even though, you know, we've talked a little bit about it, it's one of the biggest issues of our day right now, because we're being inundated. Everything's turned to 5G, right? In the last couple of years, everything, those towers have been put up, and you can see 5G registering on your phone. 5G is literally pushing massive amounts of those frequencies through our bodies, and we have to guard ourselves even more than we were before. So what does that mean, Mia and John? That means up here at this antioxidant level, we've got to activate more. We've got to be on it all the time. Our bodies are built to fight off what comes at it. But with the level of stress, environmental stress, EMF stress, food stress, mental, emotional stress that we are encountering as humans these days, we need to be helping it exponentially. Every single day, you should be figuring out how to help your body detox. That should be like #1 job for self-worth, self-promotion, self-care. Okay, then I wanted to go and show you a couple more pages. There's a lot of pages in here, but I kind of want to show to you everything that we cover. This page is super great. I know that you're not going to be seeing all of it, but as you can see here, right, we can see these green ones that we covered, gut and intestinal detoxification, but we're also covering microbial balance. That's good and bad bacteria in your gut. How your digestive system is working, your musculoskeletal system. This is your actual physical body. Your cardiovascular system, this is your heart. Oxidative stress. Oh my gosh, we could talk days about oxidative stress, right? Adrenal system, hormones, energy production, sugar metabolism, your hydration levels, emotions, and sleep. And let me go back to emotions really quick. Sleep is going to be telling me if you're getting enough REM cycle, and emotions is going to tell me if you are actually absorbing the nutrition that you're eating. So you know how hangry is a real thing? We get a little angry when we're hungry.
Yeah.
Emotions come up when our body is running on low energy. And so that's why it's called emotions. It's telling us we're not absorbing our nutrients, and we need to be able to do something about that. And
Rachel.
then this really goes into so much more. See how when I really get down to it, this is the bottom part of the immune system. As you can see, this person actually has mold and fungus inside of their body. Of their body, along with chemicals and this EMF level that is inhibiting their immune system from full functionality. That is a problem, right? And I get all these people coming to me saying, I have zero energy. I don't poop every day. I really just want to lay in bed. I have a headache. I have to drink coffee and stimulants, energy drinks, really get through my workday, and then I don't have any energy when I get home with my kids and my family. That's really discouraging, right? Nobody wants to live like that. We have a country specifically living on stimulants just to keep their body going, which should never be the thing. The great part about this report as well, see all that information, you probably can't read it.
You can't read it,
30 pages in here.
Yeah.
30 pages.
So this all
30
came,
pages of just good information.
so this
Wow.
all came from this hair analysis. Is that correct?
All came from 4 strands of hair. That's all I
That's
need is 4
just, I mean,
bolts
I'm
of
sorry,
hair.
but that is absolutely remarkable. Let me ask you, do people have to be local to get this hair analysis, or can they send you strands? How does that work?
You know what? Up until the end of the year, you do have to be local, but starting in January, the software that I'm working with, they created a mail-in system that
Oh, wow.
you're going to be able to order a kit. There's specific instructions because you know that oxidation is a real thing. That's what happens during oxidative stress. We don't want to oxidate the hair. And so there's specific instructions to get it inside of an encapsulation quickly so we can keep the essence of what's going on in your hair follicle. And then it gets immediately first class mailed to a laboratory, and they will be processing it and then sending the results over to me so that I can analyze them and then have a consultation with whoever's hair that is. So
Well,
it really is, we're moving, the technology is so amazing and it's moving forward, and I just love it. I love it so much.
well,
That's
that's so
awesome. It's
amazing.
so-
You know, sorry, Mia, go ahead.
Rachel, if we could possibly, we will put your information in the comments because I know that people are going to want to reach out to you. And I love that you bring up oxidative stress and activation. And those of you who don't know what that is, reach out to us because we can certainly help you with that. We have like the most powerful activators that are out there, and we'd love to help you get activated. We've been activated for years now, but I have not had this hair analysis done, and I really want to get it done.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that would be a very exciting thing to get. I wanted to travel to you, and we were just in Utah, so we could have had it done. But now that to know that this is going to be optional for people that aren't living in the same neck of the woods is tremendous.
It is indeed. And, you know,
Yes.
unfortunately, we have a time limit on these chats just to honor people's time during. You have one more thing.
I
Mia?
do. I have a very important question that I need to ask. Someone had reached out to me who couldn't get on live, so I want to be sure I ask this question, which is, can you talk about hair regrowth in cancer patients, specifically patients who need to remain on their estrogen blocking medications? Can you speak to that at all with your background?
Yeah, so I am not a hormone specialist. That's not where my specialties lie. I specialize more in gut health. But if you go back to what we were talking about in the beginning, when Dawn said, hey, I'm a healthy person, why am I losing my hair? Think about it in the same way. When you go through a cancer treatment, you know, whether you go through whichever treatment that they put you through, you usually lose hair. Even if you don't lose all of your hair, you lose a lot of your hair. And again, that has to do with your DNA and hormones. So we've got to feed back those hormones, especially when you have to use estrogen blockers. That's hard, right? Estrogen plays a big role in how our hair growth actually happens. So my suggestion is, if you are able to get a hair analysis and understand and see what is actually happening in the gut, when you have cancer, right? They basically try to kill you to keep you alive. That's just the basics of it. They give you radiation or chemo, and they literally are poisons. And the poisons, they're microdosing into your body so that it can kill the cancer cells, but while keeping you alive. So it's a very touch and go system. We all know that at this point. So you have to know that it's killing everything in your body. You've taken your gut health to literally zero. If you've known anyone that's gone through cancer or been to the cancer treatment place, you know that they put you on a very specific diet, and that diet looks very much vegan-like. They want to limit your red meat. They want to limit a large amount of protein intake, and they want to give you straight fruits and vegetables as organic as possible. So they are trying to up your level in your gut. and give you the best boost as possible. So that's where we need to go back to. If you have cancer or have gone through cancer treatment and still battling some of those residual effects, you need to have an analysis done so that we can see exactly what your particular body needs. Because again, it's not a blanket thing. Just because two people had breast cancer and went through the same treatment does not mean their body responds the same, and it doesn't mean that it reacts the same coming out of treatment. So that's super important. There's so many different things we can do, and you want to make sure, especially if you've had cancer, that you want to treat your body with the utmost care coming out of that, because it literally is like a baby at that point, and you only want to give it good things. You don't want to be eating sugar. You don't want to be exposed to a ton of EMFs. You don't want to be coming in contact with parasites and things that can really, your immune system's already down. We want to build your immune system back up. And where do we do that? We do that in the gut. And that takes getting those big five. We've got to have antioxidants. We've got to have the vitamins. We've got to have the minerals. We've got to have amino acids and fatty acids. Those are essential for our body. That's how our body functions. And literally the reason why you ended up with cancer, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but it's usually because you are missing lots of those things. We need to have more good in the body than bad. And when that gets flipped, we're open to disease.
That's what
Well,
I
the
love,
critical-
about the whole thing with oxidative stress. We know it's bad, so reducing it is good. So that's one component of all of the things that you've shared. And wow, with the antioxidant production. And so we could go on and on for days.
Well, we could, and we will have to bring this to a close in a half hour like this with such an absolutely critical topic. We can only touch on it, but the great value for our viewers today is that you can see the importance of what the hair shows you about your health. It's extraordinary, all in that report that Rachel's able to see from that. So if you're interested in getting such an analysis, please reach out to us. We can connect you with Rachel. And apparently as of next January, this is going to be able to be done by mail, so to speak. Just very quickly, because we do have to end, I'll just mention quickly, we talked about activation, and one of the things Rachel mentioned was oxidative stress, and that could be perhaps one of the most critical of all areas to be reducing. And when Mia and Rachel were talking about activation, we're talking about the body being able to produce its own antioxidants, which is a powerful army against this thing called oxidative stress and the free radicals that damage us. So it's really worth learning a little bit more about just what activation means. We've all been products of this, the three of us here on this chat for a long time, and it's doing wonders. So overall, we thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us today. Well, we'd love to learn more and more and more. But again, if you'd like to reach out to us, we can connect you with Rachel. So thank you for joining us, everyone, today. Please join us each Thursday at noon East Coast US time for these Thriving Thursday chats. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you so much, Rachel, for joining us today to share your extraordinary wisdom about hair.
So valuable.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Speaks volumes. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you all, to our guests.